Welcome to lesson 9 in the book of Revelation. Tonight we are looking at just one chapter, and that is chapter 14. We'll begin tonight with prayer. Dear Lord God, we thank you for the opportunity to be in your word. Once again, we thank you for the blessings that you grant us. Be with us again tonight as we turn to your book of Revelation. When you talk about the future, help us to remember the hope that we always have in Jesus, our Savior, and to rejoice in the forgiveness that He's won for us. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, tonight, to begin with, maybe. There we go. How do you make it through the scary scenes in a movie? So there's a black screen, of course, but imagine there's a scary movie. Do you like scary movies?
No.
Oh, yes and no. I hate them. The old scary movies. Well, I don't like a good scary movie that's actually scary. I like bad scary movies that you can laugh at. Those are pretty good. But real scary movie, not my favorite. But how do you make it through?
Just sit out there watching.
Okay, some.
Go to the bathroom.
Yeah. You take breaks. You cover your eyes. Maybe different ways. And here we kind of have some scary scenes in the middle of the book of Revelation. So last time, what did we have? We had this guy. Who was this guy last time? So it was the red dragon. And he had 7 horns, and he had 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 crowns. Who was that guy? Satan. That was Satan. Good. So that was the devil himself. So here's believers, and we've got Satan after us, and then we have this guy. He's coming out of the sea, right? So it's the beast out of the sea. And the way he was described, and this is, you can't see as well that he's coming out of the earth, and this is the beast out of the earth. So we had the anti-Christian forces of both government and even anti-Christian forces that arise from false prophets, from within the visible church. So all of it, those are some of the scary scenes that we looked at. How do you get through? Well, maybe one of the ways you get through what usually happens at the end of a scary movie. He gets killed. Yeah, the good guys still win, right? And then we've said that repeatedly for the book of Revelation, and we have that again today. Jesus still wins. We know the victory, and that is Jesus, and ultimately that is ours because of Jesus. Let's begin tonight with Revelation chapter 14, 1 through 5. Now remember, let's back up just a little bit. We're in the middle of a series of 7 visions. Vision number 1 was the great big red guy. So that vision number 1 was Satan. Vision number 2, which one was it? The beast out of the sea. Was vision number 2. Vision number 3 was the beast out of the earth. So tonight we're beginning actually with vision number 4 in the book of Revelation chapter 14, 1 to 5. So vision number 4, let's read that. The Lamb and the 144,000. Who wants to read for us, nice and loud, 1 through 5? Mike is all over it.
Then I looked, and there before me was the Lamb, standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard a sound from heaven like the roar of rushing waters, and like a loud peal of thunder. The sound I heard was like that of harpists playing their harps. And they sang a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and the elders. No one could learn the song except the 144,000 who have come to from the word. These are those who did not defile themselves with women, for they kept themselves pure. They followed the Lamb wherever he goes. They were purchased from among men and offered as first fruits to God and God. No lie was found in their mouths. They are blameless.
Okay, thank you. Here's one of these ancient pieces of artwork which really captures beautifully what Mike just read. If you look through here's the 144,000, and you've got the 24 elders, and you've got the Lamb, and you've got the 4 living creatures. So it's kind of neat how, yeah, that's all put together in some of those ancient pieces of artwork. We're not going to do this. We're not going to divide into groups. We're going to divide into one big group. Us. Okay, so let's work through what we just read, and it's on your study guide. It's points 1A through E, and I think we can do this because none of this really is brand new, I don't think. We've gone through all of this already in the book of Revelation. So, but be able to defend your answers if you can. If you can think of, well, where did we have that before? That's extra credit of that. So let's look at who is the Lamb in verse 1. This is the slow, easy one that you can get out of the dark. Yeah, that's got to be Jesus, okay? So he's circled there on that piece of artwork that I was talking about. So the Lamb has to be Jesus. Where was that? Well, that was also mentioned in the middle of the book of Revelation. So Jesus was the Lamb, and he was also the Lion. Remember that? 2 verses right next to each other. So that's pretty easy. The Lamb is Jesus. Let's go to, any questions on that? Stop me if you have any questions. The next one we have, who are the 4 living creatures? We've run into them before.
The beast of the air, the fish, predators and man.
Yeah. What do they represent?
God's entire.
We're going to get to the
All
elders.
of the
Yeah.
locations where people are, all of the creations like the fly and the dog, all the living creatures.
Yeah, all of God's creation.
Here, well, if you look at, let's look at Revelation 4, 6 to 8. Revelation 4, 6 to 8, it said, yeah, we have that description of the 4 living creatures. Before the throne was a sea of glass. In the center around the throne were 4 living creatures. They were covered with eyes in front and back. And here what James was describing. The first was like a lion, second like an ox, third had a face like a man, fourth was like a flying eagle. Each of the 4 living creatures had 6 wings and was covered with eyes all around, even under his wings. So we mentioned at that point, those 4 represented, the wild animals, the domestic animals, the
Beast of the air.
birds of the air, and all of God's. But they seem in heaven to have this close proximity to the throne of God too. So that's why we say maybe some kind of special honor guard, or they do seem to have a higher type position at the throne. So we call them God's honor guard, for lack of a better description. Does that work, Ernie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, works for me.
Works for him. Anything else on the 4 living creatures? So we've got them. And then who are the elders?
Old and New Testament. The prophets and the.
Okay. Yeah, so there were 24 of them. And that seems to be representative of the believers in the Old Testament, because he had 12 tribes in the Old Testament, and you have 12 apostles in the New Testament. At times we've said all believers, but we're going to get to that picture of 144,000 in a little bit too. So maybe representatives of both Old and New Testament church. And we ran into that in the book of Revelation, chapter 4, verse 4. And it's funny, we said the book of Revelation, in a way, is nothing new, because it's drawn on the rest of Scripture. But sometimes Revelation already draws on what we're already talking about too. So here it's just kind of a recap of a lot of the stuff we've talked about. So we've got those representatives, and then 144,000. Who wants to explain again what these guys are all about? Charlene? All believers. And how does 144,000 become all believers?
James says it's 7:5-8.
It's what?
It's in Revelation 7:5-8.
Oh, good. Revelation 7 is the reference. Thank you. How about the number? How does that mean?
12 from old, 12 from new, times 10, times 10.
Good, good. Yeah, the Revelation number. So 12 is the number of the church or believers, so now you've got it squared. 12 times 12.
Times 10, times 10.
Times 10, that three part a lot of times too, shows that total completeness. Like, all believers of all time is really what we're talking about. And there they are, Revelation 7, like James said. They are the elect. They are all believers of all time. Not a limited number, like we said before. So it's not limiting people in heaven to 144,000. It just represents and symbolizes all believers. Good? All ring a bell? Maybe? Kind of? Sort of? From before? Here we have a little sidebar. It's not in your notes. Something that comes up once in a while, we'll say, let me read through it. The Apostle John said that 144,000 he saw in heaven had been redeemed from the earth and purchased from among men. This must mean that Jesus paid only for the sins of those who believe in him. And that's called limited atonement. So some people teach, some churches teach that Jesus died only for the sin of believers. It's essentially what that is saying. The unbelievers, because they would argue from this passage, he only redeemed some of them, and it must have been their faith. The term we use for that is a limited atonement. But what do we do when we come across problems like that? What do we want to do to solve a problem like that?
Go back to the word.
Okay, go back to the word. Here's a couple passages. 1 John 2:2, 2 Peter 2:1. Jesus is the atoning sacrifice for our sins, and not only sins of the whole world. Yeah, and 2 Peter 2:1 is, there were also false prophets among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the sovereign Lord of God and bringing swift destruction on themselves. So there's the warning, be careful of false teaching. So, here's the answer when John says that the 144 were redeemed from earth. He's not speaking about a limited atonement. He's simply saying that when Jesus comes to take us from this world, our redemption will be complete. So that's the little sidetrack or the sidebar. One more. They were purchased from among men and offered as first fruits to God and the Lamb. Here's the question. Are these 144 the first of many to rise from the dead or to be raptured? Will there be more than one resurrection from the dead? Based on what we've looked at so far in the book of Revelation, any thoughts on that? So they're saying, are these 144,000 just the first part? And will there be more than one resurrection from the dead?
Yeah, it's just a number, because I think it's God has taken the souls of all the believers already.
Okay. Yeah, when we die, what happens? Our souls immediately go to be with God. And what about the resurrection from the dead? Are there multiple resurrections? Are there? Okay. Yeah, the Bible shows us that there's one resurrection from the dead. So, first fruits, it's tied into the festival of Pentecost. In Hebrew, it's the Shavuot language. And here he's got some examples of Jewish Pentecost cards, Festival of Pentecost. But the idea of first fruits is what was done with the first. Okay, what was done with the rest? Yeah, it was consumed. It was used up by the people, and so they're offered as first fruits to God. Believers go to be with God, And the unbeliever?
Consumed.
Consumed, right? And here we're going to get to, it's an angel with a sickle, the harvest that's going to come later. So I don't know how important that is, but or if that was a burning question you had in your mind, but something that was included. Okay, back to your sheet, point E. What is Mount Zion? This might be the hardest one of the 5 that we've looked at. What do you think Mount Zion stands for? Where was Mount Zion? Let's begin there. Israel. A little more pointed, you're right. Mount Zion was in Israel. Jerusalem. Good. So it's the highest point of the city of Jerusalem, and I think you said, yeah, temple was built on the top of Mount Zion. So, again, symbolism for Mount Zion then, you would imagine is what?
Heaven.
Okay, some sort of heaven or gathering of believers, you know, that this is God's country, right? So people disagree a little bit on exactly pinpointing what it is. There are different Lutheran commentators, but basically, in general, it represents how Jesus has come to deliver his people once and for all. It's not so much a place as it is a state of being for the church. So understand what it's saying. So rather than going to a place in Jerusalem, it's saying, it's really a picture of victory. Or it's really a picture of victory of the redeemed, which would be heaven. So it has those heavenly connotations.
Would that be more particularly the throne of God?
Throne of God?
Yeah, because it says here, and they sang a new song before the throne.
Yeah, the place where God dwells. The Bible talks about that. So where God is seated, you know, that's going to be his throne. So I think, yeah, there's a lot of God's country is what I think of with Mount Zion. I mean, all these representatives. So you could, the New Jerusalem, Mount Zion, the temple. These visions come out of the temple, remember. It starts with the temple's open, right? Here come the angels, and you've got these visions that are appearing. So you had all kind of focuses there. Yes, Ernie.
This is where I have a little difficulty.
I have a lot of difficulties, so a little is fine.
Because we're talking about Jerusalem, right?
A picture of Jerusalem.
Well, Jerusalem basically is the seat of the Jewish faith. So here we're, you know, everything we're talking about here with God and it is and so forth, but it's in the seat of the Jewish faith. When you talk about Jerusalem, we immediately talk about, you know, that's where the Jewish people reside.
Yes.
So, you know, but here, they don't believe in all the Christian.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and so you're picking up, yeah, and you're right, and it became, it was the center of Jewish religious faith after the time of, you know, David, really, once David built the temple. But what happened with most of the Jews?
They're persecuted.
Well, and they turned away from, you know, the faith. They rejected Jesus as the Messiah. So Paul talks in Romans about who the true Jews are. And he makes the case that the real children of Israel are what? Yeah, Christians. Yeah, because we see Jesus for who he is. And that's a true Jew in a spiritual sense. Yeah, but don't think physical place, think about what that represented. New Jerusalem later in the book of Revelation is going to be heaven. You know, the bride or the groom and the bride meet in the New Jerusalem. That's where this eternal peace takes place. So it's just drawing on all those pictures for our comfort. But it's a good question.
When Jesus was talking about rebuilding the temple in 3 days, he wasn't speaking of the temple in Jerusalem, he was speaking of the temple, the new church,
Yeah,
which,
there, even his body, right?
Yeah, that's what I was.
And there's good and bad with Jerusalem. Because right before Jesus died, he said, "Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who stole the prophets and killed those sent to you."
I believe the Jewish faith believe that they are God's children. Because when you go through the Old Testament, it's all related to the Jews and God.
I think we have a caricature sometimes of the Jewish
Well,
faith.
they do believe in God, but they don't believe in Jesus.
I understand.
There's a lot of Jews, actually a lot of your Jewish faith today is very secular. So it's not really concerned with finding a Messiah.
Yeah, Jewish Christians.
Yes. And we always talk about that. We have to be careful because there are millions of people who are Jewish by nationality, by blood, Christian faith. But yeah, there are some, I think, Orthodox Jews who are the fulfillment of the Messiah. Before we get way too far down the line there, I think Pastor Brown wanted to say something.
I'm just this Sunday, the gospel lesson is the parable of the tenants in the vineyard. And that's how God describes his Jerusalem lot as his vineyard. So what more could I have done for it? I watered it, I put a wall around it, I Jerusalem, and then he sent his prophets and they threw him out. He sent his son and they killed the son. And so what does he do? He gives the vineyard to other people, to Gentiles. Now, certainly some Jews as well, that's consistent with this new Jerusalem is new in a lot of different things.
Good? Kinda? Sorta? All right. Let's, the new song that the 144,000 sang is the song of salvation. Why is it that only the 144,000 can learn this song? Hey, are able to know this song.
Well, we say earlier, that 144,000 are all believers. Then all believers can. But he said, I guess because the believers song, the unbelievers can't learn the song.
Yeah, and we're saying why. How come they can't learn it? Why can only the believers know this song or learn this song? Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, believe, yeah, implied in the believer. So, no one can say Jesus is Lord except by, what's that message go? Holy Spirit. Except by the Holy Spirit. So, only the Holy Spirit can create faith. Only believers know that song. So, song I think here is talking about faith. Good. No one can say Jesus is, there we go. No one can say Jesus is Lord except by the Holy Spirit. So only Christians can sing that song. Something God works in their hearts and faith. Here we have an interesting little sidebar too. Talking about this song. How is the song described? Kind of an interesting song, isn't it? So it starts with what? How does the song begin? So we were before. Before that. What's the text say? So yeah. Harps. So you think of harps playing, what do you think of?
angel.
Angels, heaven. What does a harp actually sound like? Tranquil, beautiful, right. But then what is added to this song? Peals of thunder, so interesting. So you've got beautiful harp music with peals of thunder, crash, crash, right? Sound of rushing waters, I think this is kind of funny. A sound check, the song of salvation. So you've got the beautiful harp, and you add the rushing waters, and the peal of thunder, and the guy who put these slides together equated it to It's more like a rock concert, is what he's saying. I don't know about that, and jokingly, but yeah, it's a beautiful song, right? But in a sense, they're rocking it out in heaven. What that sound is like. So maybe the awesomeness of God as well as the beauty of God, all, I'm sure it's much more beautiful than, Okay, like I said, that was kind of a silly sidebar. Point 3. Some Christians believe that on Judgment Day God will reveal the sins of all, even the sins of believers. How does the description of the 144,000 in this chapter refute that belief that even the sins of believers will be revealed?
It says that they are those who did not defile themselves.
Okay, good. What do we make of the whole defiling themselves with women? That. Okay. A lot of times in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament, adultery is equated with idolatry, right? And so here it's not saying if you are married and you've defiled yourself in some way. It's saying though, if you committed, it's spiritual adultery is the picture. So the 144,000 are described as not having defiled themselves, nor was any deceit found in their mouths. Like Joel said, they are blameless. Why? Psalm 103, for example, David explains, as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. So, when we go to heaven and we stand before God on Judgment Day, what do we not have to be scared about? What's that? Yeah, there's a big book with that. And God starts going through, well, let's see. Yeah, well, we got this, and oh, you did that, oh, yeah, that's right.
If you made it that far, you're accepted.
And you all were teenagers, so let's look at those years.
In other words, there's not gonna be a book up there, right?
Right, we will be blameless, not in and of ourselves blameless, we know that, but blameless because we've been washed in the Lamb. Good. And God has removed those sins from us. Good. Anything on that, Pastor Brown?
Yeah, Daniel chapter 7, it says, I saw the Ancient of Days, the court was seated, the books were open. What books?
I'm trying to come up with a smart aleck answer.
No, I just say, but it's one of those places where here it is, and there's no record, and what the scriptures, the book of life, is another way that, but for the unbeliever, all the evidence against it. But we also say, like Jesus in Matthew 25, the record.
We're going to get to that. Yeah, I was going to talk about how.
Brendan has said, just like Wayne, we'll get to that.
Yes, we'll get to that.
All right.
Verse 13, we're going to look at Pastor. They will rest from their labor, for their deeds will follow
Listen, I was tired of looking at it.
Mark the names of the believers.
Yeah, Book of Life, names of believers. I think that's the understanding. And so if God knows, sure, God knows our deeds if he wanted to, but he's choosing not to. We can't limit God. God knows everything. So he knows all of our failings, but he's choosing not to because we've been washed clean. But for the unbeliever, right, they're Deeds are evidence of unbelief. God does, He is going to see our fruits of faith, though, that came as a result, in a good sense. Anything else before we go? Good. Let's, next section is Revelation chapter 14, verses 6 to 13, which is actually vision number 5. Fifth vision. Revelation 14, 6 through 13. It is the 3 angels. Who wants to read nice and loud for us over the air compressor? Dan, thank you.
Then I saw another angel flying in midair, and he had the eternal gospel to proclaim to those who live on the earth, to every nation, tribe, language, and people. He said in a loud voice, "Fear God and give Him glory, because the hour of His judgment is come. Worship Him who made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and the springs of water." The second angel followed and said, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, which made all the nations drink the maddening wine of her lust." Third angel followed them and said in a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and his image and receives his mark on the forehead or on the hand, he too will drink of the wine of God's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. He will be tormented with burning sulfur and presence of the Holy Smoke of their torment rises forever and ever. There is no rest day or night for those who worship the beast in his image, or for anyone who receives the mark of his name." This calls for patient endurance, or say God remain faithful to Jesus. Then I heard a voice from heaven say, "Write, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on." Yes, says the Spirit, they will rest from their labor, for their deeds will follow them.
Thank you. All right, how do we know that this is not a chronological next point in time kind of thing? We're actually going to say this section here appears to be a flashback to something even earlier. Any reason you can pick out that would support that? So the previous vision was looking at Judgment Day, right? And you've got the 144,000. And, you know, that scene from Judgment Day. Here we're saying this seems to be before that.
It speaks back to the prophets.
Okay, where do you,
Well, like saying that, you know, they are proclaiming that there's those who live in every nation, tribe, and people, and say that somebody is coming. And then the second thing is saying that Babylon is fallen, and all of these other things. They're talking about things that happened previously.
okay, I didn't think about that, that makes sense. Good. What else, Joe?
It seems to be a call to repentance, and
Yeah,
that would
verse 6.
have a Judgment Day, and that wouldn't have be happening. That would be before.
Okay. Yeah, it's certainly a warning if,
I think verse 6 says, telling them to proclaim the gospel, saying, go proclaim the gospel.
okay. Yeah, and I think with that, what I noticed was verse 12, what is God calling?
Endurance.
And,
Endure.
yeah. So, and that's something we said in one of the earlier lessons, remember in Revelation? Then I looked, then I saw, then don't think chronologically. We do. I mean, that's just natural. We think, okay, next in time, next in time. It doesn't really do that. It just gives this series of vision after vision after vision. Some are right at Judgment Day, some are previous to it, and this seems to be a little bit before that. Maybe also verse 10, in that it's still talking about wine of God's fury, is still to be, they will drink of this, so it hasn't quite happened yet. Good. If you look at verse 6, guess how some Lutheran theologians have interpreted who that angel is. The angel flying in midair who has the eternal gospel proclaimed. How have some Lutheran theologians maybe interpreted who that angel is?
It says Martin Luther.
Yeah, does it say that on there?
It does.
Oh,
Oh.
thanks, Joe.
Supposed to evaluate that. That's the question.
There we go. Now let's evaluate it. And you see this beautiful artwork. There's the angel and Luther's head on the angel. What do you think? Can we say that angel flying in midair who proclaims the eternal gospel refers to Martin Luther?
No.
Why?
Several hundred years apart.
No.
We're evaluating. There you go.
He could be
You
one.
say no. Anybody say yes, it is Martin Luther.
No.
It could be one of them.
Okay, I think that's the thing. Let's always be careful about saying it has to be this. When God hasn't said it has to be this. Again, we're looking at symbolism. So we can confidently say, though, Luther is one of those, right?
He was influenced by it.
Well, he's one of those, one of those proclaiming that eternal gospel. Right? We don't want to say he is the one. That's just a little warning. But Reformation Sunday, the epistle lesson, the second lesson, it's not every year, but at least in one of the years, maybe even twice, this is the epistle lesson for Reformation Sunday. Revelation chapter 14, verses 6 and 7. And I did hear from a pulpit once that pastor said, one of our pastors said this. Pastor Brown.
Hey, and Joseph, isn't it anybody that proclaims the gospel? So that angel is.
Finding that angel's us too, right? Good. God's word will be preached to all nations until the very end. Therefore the angel, there it is. Anyone who faithfully preaches the word. Anyone who, ultimately shares the gospel. And you don't even have to be a preacher to do the preaching. Anybody who shares that eternal gospel. Whose downfall does the second angel announce? So the first angel is the one flying with the gospel. The second one says, fallen. Fallen is Babylon the Great.
Maybe the Catholic Church?
Maybe the Catholic Church. Why would you say that, Joe?
They kind of get steeped in ritual and kind of do some other things that maybe aren't right.
Okay. I don't know that we would go quite that far, but picking up the symbolism of, let's look at the picture. Who's Babylon in the Bible?
It's that enemy of the Jewish people, basically.
Good. So, remember what happened with Babylon. So, Assyria was the one who wiped out the northern kingdom, the first 10 tribes that fell, but you've got Judah that hangs on. And Judah is Jerusalem. Sometimes got the more godly kings, guys like Josiah and Hezekiah and people like that. And along comes Nebuchadnezzar and the big bad Babylonian army. And they wipe out Jerusalem. And Jeremiah the prophet records all this for us. Takes them into captivity, and that's where Daniel, the lion's den, takes place. That's up in Babylon in Persia. That's where the 3 men in the fiery furnace. So Babylon, they're the ones who ultimately, they not only tear down the walls of Jerusalem, they burn the temple. They tear down the temple. They carry it all off. They melt down all the gold and the silver and bronze and other stuff. The funny thing is about Babylon, 200 years later, it's gone. really, there's nothing left of it. And for a long time, people didn't even know where it was. I mean, it became a bump in the desert somewhere. So, very strong, very powerful, but also very short-lived. So, we say it's where there's error in the Catholic Church we talk about, but the enemies of God, enemies of His people, would be the significant. What do you think, Dan?
I have a problem with the phrase Catholic, because Catholic means universal. I was the universal in the Roman Catholic. I don't have any problem with that.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people misinterpret that.
Yeah, then was it the Nicene
It's a
Creed?
universal thing.
We used to use the term Catholic.
Yeah.
One holy, was it Christian and Catholic?
Just
No.
like
Catholic and apostolic.
One holy Catholic.
there's a Lutheran church in Ohio in the Apostles' Creed,
Was it in the Apostle?
where they say we believe one holy apostolic Catholic church. It's not a Christian church.
Yeah, and their Catholic does mean universal.
Little C Catholic.
So Roman Catholic, though, is different from just Catholic. When we use the word Catholic, like in a creed, we mean the
Church
whole
universal.
church, right? Church universal instead of Roman Catholic. But because it's confusing, we choose not to use that word. Pastor Brown, did you have anything?
I did, just another Babylon, you know, when they conquered Israel, you know, Nebuchadnezzar did that. And then there's that chapter in Nebuchadnezzar, he makes him go basically insane for an whole year. And Nebuchadnezzar finally acknowledges God. Doesn't say that he repents, but this makes you think, you know, at the name of Jesus, every knee will bow. And, you know, that happened, all the enemies finally acknowledged him, and Nebuchadnezzar lived. We don't know, maybe possibly became a believer. You know, we don't know that, but you know, the enemies of God, you know, they fall before him all the time.
Was he the fiery furnace too, or was that somebody later?
Yes.
I thought it was.
Yes.
Yeah. So, he gets a couple big object lessons where God says, "Yeah, you're not so powerful as you think," and hopefully it changes his heart eventually. Yes. Yeah. That guy. What does Revelation 14:10 say to those who describe hell as separation from God? Which would be me. I say this all the time. One of the great punishments here is, what does that say to those who describe hell as separation from God? What does that ask? In the presence. So, is it fair to say that hell is separation from God? What could we say it is then?
Separation from grace.
Awesome. So, better description is, I don't know if you all heard it, Joseph, separation from grace. Or, says those who worship the beast will be tormented in the presence of the holy angels and the Lamb. I guess it doesn't say. But it is, yeah. Removed from God's love, not just from God. Because here, yeah, the picture there is they're in the presence of God and receiving punishment. So that knowledge of there is no grace here, there is no love. God wanted this for them, God invited them, and yet they turned away.
That phrase patient endurance, and I'm sure I know you've heard this before, that this world is as close as the unbeliever will ever get to heaven. And this world is also the closest the believer will ever get to heaven. You know, and so they, you know, and they don't realize it.
Yeah.
The grace of God that showered on them. Every good encouragement for us not to take it for granted.
Right. Yep. World is the closest the believer will get to hell. and the closest the unbeliever will get to that. Dan?
I said that way will, it's a difference between light and dark.
They don't have the grace, they will not receive the love of God, separated from that. Okay, point 8. Explain with help from this section. Instead of fearing death, a believer should look forward to death. Did I want to hear that giggling in the background? I didn't hear it. Feel free to repeat if you want to.
It's a reference to Luther.
Oh,
Luther being world.
oh, okay.
Do your work and be happy about what you're on earth to do, but you don't have to fear dying because heaven's going to do it.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
We look forward to that. What does that section say?
So,
Okay. Not afraid, so we don't have to fear it because we know God. We know all His promises. We know the blessings that He talks about. Rest with God. So we say rest. James? What? Rest. Yeah, that.
I was gonna say, it says you'll rest from your labor. I'm pretty lazy, so that sounds great to me.
You know, it's funny when we think of rest. You hear people talk about that when we talk about heaven sometimes. People say, I don't want to go to heaven, that sounds boring. I don't want to play a harp for eternity. I don't want to sit in a lazy boy for eternity, because that's rest. But I think, what is it really talking about with rest? Not just having nothing to do. What does it emphasize? Yeah. This life that eventually wears us out, that exhausts us, that leaves us at the end of our life, kind of like the beginning of our life, where we need to rest a lot and we're tired out and God brings us home. And so it's rest from the struggles and rest from the pain and rest from the suffering that we get, rest from sin, some of the spiritual battles. I marvel at my wife's 100-year-old grandma. I know I talk about her all the time. But she talks about her temptations and her spiritual struggles. And I'm going, the devil will leave her alone after a while. But, we need rest in a lot of different ways. And so that's a blessing. It's not boring. It's not talking about boring, but it's talking about blessing. What was that? Yeah.
It's just a new life.
A new life, a blessed life. Do we fear it? Is it? Sure, we fear it, in a sense, right? Because it's different, it's unknown, we've never experienced it. So in that sense, it's neat as a pastor, though. Pastor Brown and I get to deal with people who are near the end of their life. And it's interesting, too, how a believer will embrace that near the end. It's harder for us because we're healthy and we're stronger. But when you see somebody's worn out and they're just looking forward to the rest, and it's neat to see how just very peaceful blessing that we put. Here's an Isaiah section that talks about that rest. The righteous perish and no one ponders it in his heart. Devout men are taken away and no one understands that the righteous are taken away to be spared from evil. That's part of the rest I was trying to talk about. Part of that rest is spared from the problems of our sinful flesh. Those who walk uprightly enter into peace. They find rest as they lie in death. So Isaiah talks about the very same thing. Anything else on point 8? Point 9, what does it mean that the deeds of believers will follow them? Pastor Brown. You referenced it before, so.
Matthew 25, when I was hungry, you gave me something to eat, when I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink, when I was being clothed, you clothed me, when I was sick, you came to visit me. When did we do this? Maybe we did it for the least of these brothers of mine did it for me.
I love it when believers go, yeah, no, we didn't. We didn't do that. And God says. Yeah. So as opposed to the unbeliever, maybe whose deeds, can we say that, precede them? You know, there's no grace. They don't know the love of Christ. So their deeds are visible and they fall short. Ours, oh, after. Good picture. That's your own.
I'll say this now, I don't think I'll say it on Sunday in my sermon, but since we're a close-knit group here. And, I'm preaching on Philippians chapter 3, where Apostle Paul says everything that he accomplished was waste, really. I mean, if we rely on our own works, and the word for waste that he used could be like what's left over from a table or human waste. It's just it's terrible. If we're relying on our good works, but we do good works, and God sees them and is pleased with them, but only because of Jesus. In Christ, those deeds follow us as evidence of the faith that God gave us, and it's when we stand with the Lamb, then it's glorious. On our own, it stinks.
Yeah, that's why I love that picture from Matthew 25 that you were talking about. The believer truly, it's not like we are counting on it. And in fact, are saying, I'm not sure I did do that, Lord. And he's, things you did in faith, at least the brothers of mine did for me. So, we don't trust our works for any sort of confidence. But a Christian is going to produce good works. But it's not what we point to. It's not the cause of our salvation, it's the result. Right? Because we are saved, we will produce good works. We do not produce good works in order to be saved. The answer here, on Judgment Day, Jesus will point to the good deeds of the believers as evidence of their faith in Him. It is the fruits of faith that we talk about. Believers don't produce fruits. Jesus will point to the good deeds of the believers as evidence of their faith in Him.
Kind of like the proofs in the pudding.
Kind of like what?
Like the proof is in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding.
What does that mean?
Oh, I don't know.
The evidence, the proof. Yeah, the evidence of faith. The proof of the pudding. In faith, and since we're in the Revelation, everything's symbolic. Pudding stands for faith.
There you go.
Revelation according to Dan. I like it. Anything else on point 9? Let's go to the final 6 verses then. Revelation 14. This is vision number 6. Harvest of the year. Chapter 14, verses 14 to 20. Let's go. Joe?
Sure.
Hey, Brian, I had to go with it.
I looked, and there before me was a white cloud, and seated on the cloud was one like a son of man, with a crown of gold on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Then another angel came out of the temple and called in a loud voice to him who was sitting on the cloud, "Take your sickle and reap, because the time to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is ripe." So he who was seated on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was harvested. Another angel came out of the temple in heaven, and he too had a sharp sickle. Still another angel who had charge of the fire came from the altar and called in a loud voice to him who had the sharp sickle, "Take your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of grapes from the earth's vine, because its grapes are ripe." The angel swung his sickle on the earth, gathered its grapes, and threw them into the great winepress of God's wrath. They were trampled in the winepress outside the city, and blood flowed out of the press, rising as high as the horses' bridles for a distance of 1,600 stadia.
Thank you. It's not on your sheet, but who is verses 14 to 16 talking about? So we're back to Judgment Day, right? We had a little time out and talked about some stuff before Judgment Day. Now we're back to Judgment Day. Verses 14 to 16 is talking about the harvest of
The
believers. Good. And 17 to 20, the non-believers. Good. Who is the Son of Man?
Jesus.
Yeah, we know that. That's Jesus. That picture is used in Scripture. After reading this section about the winepress of God's wrath, Jamie says that she can't believe in a God who would be so vengeful and so bloody. How far is 1,600 stadia?
180 miles.
180 miles of blood. How high? Up to the horse's bridle. The horse lady, how high is that? How many feet? How many hands, right? So, pretty high. Yeah. What would you say? Can't believe in a God who would be so vengeful and so bloody. By the way, again, our numbers game real quickly, 1,600
Not very many.
could stand for what? That's 6. 16. 4 times 4. So 4 is the number. Year times 10. Times 10. Yeah. Maybe that's the picture. Earthly stuff. You invite your friend to church. Jamie says, "No, I'm not going to go." You say, "Why not?" This is what she says. What are you going to say in response to Jamie? God is so vengeful and so bloody, I'm not interested.
I don't think God is bloody. What's gonna happen is that God is gonna take the believers to heaven. And the unbelievers are going down below.
Okay? She doesn't want to hear that, because that makes her
Well,
sound,
but that's what she should understand.
okay? And that's fair to say. It's the picture in the Bible. What else might you want to bring in, though? Okay, yeah, this is not just arbitrarily God saying A, B, A, B, A, B, oh, too bad you're B, right? Judgment is based on what?
Faith.
What's the dividing line? Have faith in Christ. What we make of Jesus. How is God bloody in another sense? I guess maybe I would go that way with it.
Son shed blood.
God got himself bloody, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's the kind of God that we have, who, otherwise, who would be squeezed out of the winepress?
Everybody but Jesus.
Yeah. And so God got himself bloody too, and that's not vengeful, that's pure grace. That's wrong.
And we saw that right in chapter 5, the lamb who had been slain. And it literally says, looking like it had been butchered. So it was bloody. Can I ask you a question on Luke 13?
Yeah.
There is the parable of the fig tree that didn't produce any fruit and built around it. And then here, the grapes are, he used this clusters of grapes. And so here those are the unbelievers.
Yeah.
And in the picture of there's no fruit on the vine, but now it's ripe.
I think the reference there is more just the end there, give it another year.
Right.
And so that's God's vengeful nature does not, we sin one time, we go to hell. I think that's the connection they're making, rather than
Yeah, no, I understand, it's just interesting here that, usually you think of fruit as being
Good.
good,
Yeah,
and here the grapes are bad.
because they're gonna get the sharp sickle. Apparently the other sickle's not sharp. Yeah, Nicole.
Does that image of the angel with the sickle have anything to do with the image that we have of the Green Reaper?
Maybe, that's a good question. I don't know what.
Because even Satan is a fallen angel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the Grim Reaper, everybody is gonna, I would guess so. You could Google it probably.
This is not Satan. Yeah, this is.
Or usually the Grim Reaper's dad itself.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, in the end,
I would imagine.
because of the.
Do you want to prepare a report for us? Yeah, we're at time, but, the God of patient love is also a God of justice. So, you can, yeah, sure, God is just. He doesn't take sin and wink at it and say, I'm just gonna make it disappear. He did punish. He does punish sin. But thank God he punished his son so that we can have eternal life. And nobody want to hear about that before you turn away God as something you don't want. So that's maybe a way to approach it. Back to the beginning, scary movies. How do you make it through the scary scenes? Well, how does it turn out? So here we had some scary scenes the last couple weeks. We got the great dragon, and we've got the beasts, but in the end,
Jesus wins.
Jesus wins. And because Jesus wins, we didn't win also. Dan has a quick question.
Oh, there's been so long.
We'll get back to it next.
Oh, yeah. God disciplines those he loves.
Okay, let's close with prayer. Dear Lord God, we thank you for the comforting pictures that you give us. We see pictures of your justice and also your love. You treat us in your grace. Help us to always appreciate that and also be able to and ready to share that message with others. We thank you that you've done everything for our eternal life. And now grant us faith and grant us your spirit that we continue to live for you and claim that salvation you've won for us in Jesus. Bless our time as we continue in your word. We ask you in Jesus' name. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'd be happy to give a shot.